Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Wife is upset I don't trust her, is having second thoughts about the baby build trust TLDRWS is upset. I don't trust her completely after her infidelity, though we are reconciling. She is pregnant and asked me about trust and I told her it takes time. She did not have a great reaction to this and is scared about the future and having a baby. I kind of hate having to recap this situation, but to avoid some common questions I will. My 27M wife Amy, 30F, had an infidelity episode. We have been together for almost 7 years I believe. Since college, we got married a year or so after. It's a long and frankly tiring story to repeat. But I'm aware my behavior needs context. To start, she lost weight, in her words, felt attractive for the first time in her life. She has always been pretty, but was mostly into the whole body positivity movement, till we started losing weight due to a medical concern. She and her friends started showing themselves online to strangers behind my back and my wife got addicted to the attention. When her friend tried to get her to calm it down as she started going too far, doing private cams, sexting, and accepting money from folks for private streams, she apparently didn't listen. I knew something was up with the lying, secrecy, gaslighting and all that, but the final straw was overhearing a convo between Mimi, 30F, and Amy where Mimi told her she was taking things too far and that she was going over the line, but I wasn't sure how or what it was about. And Mimi threatened to tell me herself if Amy didn't talk to me. I never thought at the time, but looking back, someone else would have considered this a sign that Amy was cheating on me with Mimi. I mean, they kind of were. But given our sexual history with Mimi, that was neither a question or an alarm. I confronted Mimi while Amy was at work telling her she and Amy can come get her stuff and Mimi spilled the beans, and told me the fight was because Mimi, who has an off, warned Amy not to talk to people privately, do private cams, or any of that. And she had found Amy doing that behind her back and a particular fan was getting very insistent and offered Amy a huge chunk of money to do more. He had sent the money. Amy told Mimi that she had not intention of cheating though she basically already was. And that she would just keep the guy's money, something like $5,000, as it was sent to her PayPal as a gift. And she never agreed to it. But she had been caming for the guy and sexting with him. To wrap up the recap, I was furious, confronted my wife. Heard her side of the story. Because we are definitely not hurting for money by even the most liberal stretch of the imagination. Found out from her that it had nothing to do with sexual gratification or wanting to duck other guys, which she claimed she didn't, or me or my performance as a lover or a partner. She had got addicted to the attention. The gratification. The fact that these people desired her enough to pay to see it and all that. I took my leave of the house for about 4 months, left the state. Everyone went to therapy. We ended up deciding to reconcile, and it was a long process to get back to anything close to me not being randomly feeling betrayed, angry, and disgusted. I will go on record saying Mimi and Amy's sisters, Sissy, are both thin and attractive, but in my opinion neither are as attractive as my wife. At least not to me. My wife is very pretty, just was a bigger girl. Since I've always encouraged her, shared my love for her, and never disparaged her weight. I was blindsided by her body issues. As she was always aggressively pro-big girls, before this. And frankly, as a sexual being I prefer my ladies to have some meat on their bones. My wife checked all my buttons, so I wasn't sure at first where all this self-loathing was coming from. Spent a lot of time angry and blaming myself before finding out the truth. She hid it from me cause she didn't want to be one of those depressing fat girls. And thought apparently if she didn't say anything I would just keep on keeping on, and not move on to anyone better. I asked if the fact that I loved her, married her, moved halfway across the country away from all my friends and family, bought her a huge house, and worked tirelessly to make her happy wasn't enough to show that I loved her. She told me that loving her and being attracted to her are two different things. Frankly, it is a nightmare dealing with my own hate and sense of betrayal, and wanting to help my wife through this mental weight that has had her down her entire life it seems. It's not easy, but I've been managing. Through therapy, honesty, and finding out some truths, I've come to terms with a lot of my wife's insecurities. None of it excuses her behavior, but I'll give some highlights. She was bullied by her thin sister most of her life for being big. After being overweight killed their mother. I didn't know her stepmother was not their real mother till now. She had always been sure that I had liked her sister before we got together, and thought I settled for her. And thought that all my support, love, and encouragement was just what I had to do cause I was stuck with the consolation prize. There are some more, but basically, she spent the entire relationship feeling like a charity case or something. With that out of the way, current situation. Amy is pregnant. Before you ask, yes, got a paternity test as soon as it was viable. Things have been going well between us after a really rough time. Intimacy was hard for me. Even returning to my home took me time. Sleeping in the same room was a no-go for almost a year, but I feel like we've turned a corner. I'm not as certain that I'm an idiot waiting for my wife to betray me again. The problem was that things were going well and Amy's worked hard and is doing all the right things. And has for quite some time. Now she's pregnant and emotional and seems to be very happy, though fussy about a lot of stuff. Randomly she sat down while I was working and apologized again. She has been apologizing for a while like this, so I didn't think anything of it. She starts crying and says she almost ruined us. And that she wants to be a good mom and a better wife. She laments her actions and talks to me some more about her fears coming up. The fact that the video she put online can come back to bite her at any time and may make her life miserable at any moment. She talks about how stupid she was and how sorry she was, and how she's so happy that she was given another chance. How she knows she doesn't deserve it, or me, but that she is happy that I found it in my heart not to abandon her. I hugged her and all was good, for about a few seconds. She then says something that irked me. She said she was happy that I trusted her enough to try. I stopped, because that was the first thing she said that felt wrong. It must have shown on my face, so she asked me what. I shrugged and told her thank you, and said it's going to be difficult for everyone, but I've made the decision to try and make it work, because I love her. She picks up on the evasive answer and asks me again what the problem was. I looked at her and told her that trust takes time. I then told her that once you break something, no matter how much care you put into gluing it back together, it will never be whole again. It will never be what it was. You lose flakes, little dust particles, pieces that made it what it was. And when you sit it down, even if you got it looking exactly like it should, you're careful, cause you know it can break easier the next time. Amy asks if that means she's never going to live down what she did. I told her I didn't know, that I hoped so. But that's all I had, was hope. She asked if that meant I would never trust her again. I told her I don't know. Trust takes time. Right now I have hope that things will be better. But as far as faith and trust, I simply can't have faith and I don't completely trust anyone anymore. I told her that statistically speaking, it was far more likely that she cheat on me or betray me, than that everything is good from now on. Most people who commit infidelity are repeat offenders. And most people who reconcile find out later that their spouse just got better at hiding their illicit activities. She found a reason once to lie to me, to betray me, to gaslight me, to put our entire relationship at risk. And it wasn't hard to find some justification. I told her the mind is an amazing tool and that people can justify a lot of things. I hope we make it and everything will be okay. I love her and have chosen to take the risk, but I'm not in a position to offer my trust, and I'm just not the kind of person who has strong faith in things I can't quantify. All the data is telling me I'm a moron and that having a child with her is probably a mistake I will end up sorely regretting. Forgiving a cheater seems to be, but I love her and she seems sincere, so I'm betting against the odds. I hope the trust returns, but it takes time. In the meantime, she has all my hopes. She did not take this well. At all. In fact, she started ugly crying. I didn't know what to say to her, so I just held her. She then asks if I don't trust her, then am I even happy about the baby? I told her yes. Regardless of her or I'm gonna love my kid no matter what. We certainly weren't trying for a baby, but I'm all on board with being a dad. She asks if I think I'm stupid for having a child with her. I answer that all evidence points to that being the case. I hope I'm not, but again, the odds are not in my favor. She took this even worse. She asks why not just have an abortion, why subject me to this if I don't have faith in us. I told her that faith isn't easy and trust takes time. I got hope. That's about it right now. That it will take more time and we are just on the journey. Hopefully we'll get there together. Amy got quiet and then began sobbing. She left the room and locked herself in her office. I checked on her several times, but she was just crying. Then her mother came to get her, hugged me, and told me she will sort it out. Amy's been at her parents' house for 2 days. I've called. I'm hearing Amy is having second thoughts about the baby, though we are almost 4 months into the pregnancy. I've come by her house to drop off food I cooked for her, but Amy cries every time she sees me now. So I just give it to her father and leave. I'm being told that it's just hormones and that everything will be okay. Amy's therapist is on vacation, and I can't wait for her to get back. What am I supposed to do for her? I'm trying to be honest and supportive. I've had to balance my own feelings and hers for so long now, and now that she's pregnant, am I expected to get over it? Hey, you chose to reconcile, so you can't have those feelings anymore? The situation seems delicate and I have all the tact of a rampaging elephant. What can I do here? How do I make this woman feel better without lying to her? Do I have to suck it up and pretend I don't have fears and doubts? I do. I'm scared shitless that the next time she's depressed she'll do something crazy to make herself feel better. I also have nagging doubts in my head given how most of these stories have ended on Reddit. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. I made my decision. I am reconciling and we are having a baby. We are staying married and I do love this woman with all my heart. But I do not trust her with that heart. I just need some advice on how to navigate these emotions. You and her need to accept the reality you are living in now and need to think about your expectations, because what she did changed everything. Trust can be restored, but it will never again be like it was before. Reason for that is that she showed you what she is capable of. What she is capable of is a part of her that you were not aware of before but that you are aware of now. That she is capable of doing that doesn't mean that she will do it again, but she is capable of doing it again. So even if she does everything right, you will always be aware of what she is capable of. Because of that, you can't give her the same trust again like you did before. You need to protect yourself. When you gave her all of your trust before, you put yourself into a position where she could hurt you like no one else could, which she did. You can trust her again, but it will be on a level where you don't make yourself so extremely vulnerable again. You and her both need to accept that and adjust your expectations accordingly. Your marriage can still be beautiful, but it will be a different kind of beautiful. But different doesn't need to be bad. But as long as your or her expectations are to get back what you had before, you both will only find disappointment. You learned what she is capable of and need to take that into consideration. Talk about your expectations, find out if they can be realistically achieved and if you both can find happiness in them. If the answer is no, then find out if you can adjust your expectations. I wish you all the best on your way forward. You always have the most measured and unbiased opinions, man. Thank you. Most people answer these questions from a place of hurt, expectation, or outrage. It's not helpful. It never is. I've made the decision to reconcile, and so far, I haven't regretted it. But everyone acts like every bump in the road is a sign the damn sky is falling. It's starting to get a little nerve-wracking. Like, I want to hold on to my anger and my outrage, but it's hard in the face of folks who want her to be representative of their past trauma, or their situation. She is not. People are people and they are all different. Will this work? Who the duck knows? But you know what? You got the same damn odds of it working out with a relationship without an infidelity issue as one without one. The only difference now is I'm aware of that. And that awareness causes friction. I'm not going to let my wife off the hook for what she did. B. I'm not gonna drive myself in a tizzy about what she could have done. And C. I'm not going to pretend like the bad washes away the good and vice versa. We're not at a blank slate, but we are at the beginning of a new thing. The old thing is dead and gone and I'm working on this new thing. My peace of mind, as someone else stated, will never be the same. And not just because of her. She's a huge thing. But you've been following me. You know for a fact Amy isn't the most of my trust issues and I'm more about people in general. People I loved and trusted, protected and defended my childhood abuser. Hide his actions. My design team did some betraying things. I'm running into more racist in my industry than I ever thought. My trust for anyone is ducking low. She's part of that, but not the whole, and I know walking away from her right now would be me trying to fix a general issue by doing whatever small thing I can do right now. Like hitting some kid at school cause you can't fight your parents who mistreat you. Yeah, the kid may have hit you first, or may have made fun of you, or deserved some kind of retribution. But to take all of that out on them would be unwise and unfair. I wish I was the type of person to make a rash decision. But I doubt I'd be happy right now or have peace of mind if I did. Something that you and her will really help is to think about your expectations regarding trust. Also take some time to think about how your trust was before she did what she did, how it is now compared to that, to define the difference and then to inspect these differences closely so that you can figure out what to work on. One huge example in your case is that you are reading her texts. I told you early on that this will be problematic later and this is what is happening now. You trust her a little because you are reading her texts. The whole trust you have built until now completely depends on your ability to check what she writes to someone else. Take that ability away and you will find that you don't trust her one little bit, because all trust that has been built until now was based on your backup of reading her texts. Take a moment and imagine that you wouldn't have read her texts in the last 3 months. Would you be at a different place now? Would she have betrayed you? Or would you be exactly where you are right now, just with a little less knowledge? Or to say it more directly, would you be at a place where you would meet with her eye to eye because you allow her to have her private conversations just like you are having yours? What if she read my texts at any time she needed to go through my phone, and I could too, but I trusted her and never had the intention of checking? I should have thought in retrospect, but I found out another way. She was lying about her location on Life 360 and built suspicion. I read all the texts she sent him, and know in detail what happened. I now regret knowing these details. They hurt. They feel like a personal attack, and if not then a very big act of pure resentment or indifference and lack of love. They had sex on our anniversary, traveled on Valentine's and had sex by the beach. The texts are awful. I will make a post about reading the texts on your partner's phone and privacy in general, especially after infidelity, today or tomorrow. Feel free to read it. I will write it as soon as I have the time to. But in your case, all I can tell you is that knowing the whole truth will always be painful, but no matter if you know it or not, it still happens. So as much as it hurts, it is necessary that you know the truth so that you can make an informed decision about your future. You can't decide to stay with her and try to reconcile when you only know about parts that happened but not about everything. Because in many cases it happens, that the truth comes out at one point, and the later it is that this happens, the more difficult it will be, because no matter how much time it took until you learned the whole truth, it will throw you all the way back to step 1, to the point where you needed to ask yourself if you want to try to stay together with this person. So while I am very sorry for all the pain you have to endure when you found out about the depth of her betrayal, I think that this was necessary and good for you because it allowed you to see her for who she truly is and not to see her any longer for the person you thought she was. If you make a decision to stay with her after all that you learned, then you know exactly who the person is that you want to stay with and what she is capable of. However you decide to go on, I wish you all the best on your way forward. My 27M wife Amy, 30F, had an infidelity episode. Well, please don't call it an episode, entanglement etc. Doing so is just minimizing the enormity of such actions. It wasn't an episode, as in something that happened to her. It is something where she made a series of decisions every step of the way to cheat and then lie to you about it. Another issue I see here is this: your wife may feel that all she had to do is to say oopsie, my bad. Here's your baby for everything to get back to the way things were and be copacetic. That coupled with her cheating shows a level of immaturity. I'd urge you to suggest she get into individual counseling with someone who specializes in infidelity. I think that'll help you both in the long run. While you are at it, you may want to talk to a therapist as well. I'd suggest making this as two separate people so that you both are not talking to the same therapist. It is going to be a long journey with hardship. I wish for you to have the best outcome on this journey. Edited to add, I went back and read some of your previous posts. OMG, what a mess. Between Amy, Mimi, Doug and the guys that she was/were entertaining in her camming business, things are just mind-boggling. It does not come across as an episode. It looks like a pathological behavior. I'm sorry to say that. I think it is unreasonable for her to expect you to trust her, after all that she put you through. You do have a hard road ahead of you. Would reconciliation be on the table if it were physical sex, meetups, lying about whereabouts and have sex with the affair partner on our anniversary and go travel across the country on vacation with him to the beach and have sex there in the ducking moonlight on Valentine's? I am in hell. What would your opinion be? I've been cheated on as a young man on Valentine's Day. If she ducked some dude, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't need advice. I would have just bolted. Thanks, yep, me too. Especially if they built an emotional connection and started to ignore you as a result. Most of this is on her, but based on your past trauma and conditioning, you tend to try to keep everything under control, and that negates her taking on full responsibility for choices. If you made the decision to give her a shot and not her throwing herself to the wolves to show you were truly remorseful, then until she gets there you will always have something to fear about her not being a safe partner. Ask her to join our/support for waywards. They can advise her on her approach towards her and help her understand the trauma and pain she has inflicted on you and ease her frustration as to why it's not going to be a get over it situation. Your feelings and fears are completely valid, and the way she's handling the whole thing, taking hormones out of the equation, she has so much emotional growth and many layers of issues to resolve to herself a better person and a safe partner for you, and you just being present isn't going to be enough. I would also offer an infidelity posnop as a sign of good faith to take her fears of you revenge cheating or other nonsense like that, and as a way to level the plane. Since you don't have an infidelity issue, no biggie for you. For her it's a testimonial to her commitment to make sure she keeps herself in check. Winner takes all, get full custody of the kids, the house, no alimony and 90% of the marital assets. This will put your mind at ease of the dumb shit, and hopefully wakes her up from making stupid choices. Best of brother. I really hope you get time to work on yourself and that she realizes soon enough that she really needs to stop acting like a spoiled child and more like a wife/mother that values the great gifts she's received and willing to do the work that's necessary for however long to be able to claim her place right by your side, so you both can grow old and happy with a beautiful family. She thought the baby was a magic band-aid. You told her that she still has work to do. She's not happy the pregnancy didn't earn her a free pass. Not a good sign in my opinion. Nailed it. I don't think this is the case. but I'm hoping it isn't. She's been pretty good about admitting her faults and mistakes in all this. My issue is, despite doing everything right, I still don't fully trust her, nor do I think I will ever again. We never get over a betrayal the magnitude of infidelity, never. Especially after digging deep and knowing all the details, you relive an imagination in your head you cannot erase. Unfortunately, I agree with the above commenters. Her subject me comment relating to the pregnancy makes it sound like she didn't get pregnant because she wanted to, but instead because she thought going through that for you would give her a clean slate. I'm also sure she knows no one gets a clean slate from me. I'm sadly not built like that. Once that baby comes, she won't be asking for a clean slate, she'll demand it. If you don't give her a clean slate, then you're an abuser, and then she's got justification to cheat, lie, make more videos, whatever her personal revenge entails. No one will blame her because now she's a mother looking out for her baby. You have some hard decisions, brother, which I don't envy. Comments like this make me have less faith in humanity. I see you already do. Expect the worst, hope for the best. This. Hey, bud. Look. You know you didn't do anything wrong and it doesn't sound like you have a tact problem. You told the truth as gently as you could, but you have to be honest. You can't rug sweep just because the baby was introduced into the equation. I can personally vouch for the hormone freakouts, but here's the thing. As someone else said, her behavior during your last conversation indicates she believed the baby was a free pass to go from B to Z in wayward work. Actually, it doesn't sound like she's done the wayward work or she would know this. She should be well aware there is no pass from B to Z and that you cannot be expected to trust her again in a year, if ever. So, I have to ask. Is she seeing her own therapist? Has she read the recommended wayward books? One last thing. This stuff with going over to her mom's is manipulation. I hate saying it. I know you don't want to hear it. You didn't give her the free pass and it pissed her off. So, the water works. It didn't work. So, I'm taking this baby inside me and going to mom's. That'll teach you to give me the free pass. It's all about her and nothing about you, the betrayed. This is in stark opposition to where she should be mentally, and you probably know it. Summary. You have done nothing wrong, except perhaps a failure to demand she do the proper wayward work. If you change anything, that's what it should be. But, you should not give in to this transparent emotional manipulation. She's trying to use the baby as a means to assert control over you, which is not a good sign. She's threatening to end the pregnancy if you don't submit. What is that if it isn't manipulation? The term spoiled comes to mind. Perhaps it's you that spoiled her. Maybe it's an extended period of time on the internet with lonely men telling her she's a goddess. Either way, she isn't at all behaving like a wayward at 1 year is supposed to behave. You need to be able to see that so you can help get her back on track. Finally, someone wrote it. Yes. Her leaving to her mom's is pure manipulation. She's hoping next time he wants to speak his honest feelings, he will think twice, fearing she will leave. Thus, giving her a free pass. She's broken a core reconciliation rule. The wayward cannot bail on the BS because he isn't yet ready to fully trust, even years into that's like, rules for waywards 101. Very basic reconciliation principle. She's using the fact he's committed to her and committed to the baby to pivot the power back into her court. She should have already submitted to the fact she doesn't have the power because of what she did. She shouldn't even want the power because having it almost cost her marriage. She has essentially fallen off the wagon in terms of recovery. However, I'm not 100% certain she's self-educated enough to even know what the wagon looks like. And if she isn't, she doesn't fully understand the commitment required for her. The fact she can run home to mom isn't helping. It allows her not to grow up. Mill failed to help reconciliation by thinking it was her place to step in and fix it. When her daughter called, she should have told her daughter to fix it. She's enabling bad behavior. I don't have an award to give, so please consider this comment your award. Cue the award. Why sparkles and fireworks, sparkles, crown, glowing star, clapping, fairy, four-leaf clover, will-to-flower, rainbow, star. Faith, belief in something that doesn't have evidence to back it up. Then in all likelihood you'll end up walking away when it becomes too much, and it'll be the right decision for all three of you. Watch for when/how the anxiety and resentment builds between the two of you, because it's a killer if you don't take heed of it. Listen to your gut, friend, it won't steer you wrong. Man, are you acting like a huge dick? Your need for hyperbole is adolescent. Be better. And what is with you constantly hiding your incredible meanness and showing pessimism without a drop of empathy? She was talking about subjecting me. And she didn't try to get pregnant. It was an accident. That I know for sure. If I'm being honest, I think all of her anxiety heightened when someone at work found one of those videos. She's been back and forth from working her hardest and self-loathing since that happened. I've had a hard time consoling her because though I'm here and we are reconciling, I can't silence the voice that says, "What did you expect to happen when you got naked on camera? Hey, you can't know how long it will take." The trust anxiety, maybe panic attack, you are having right now is fully justified, and probably not about the infidelity. It's about manipulation. The whole infidelity scenario would be easier, not easy, to forgive, if it was only the act. I have known people to get over, not easily, a single bad decision when a partner was drunk. But usually the full scenario includes looking, lying, planning, manipulation, act, and cover-up. Then repeat. It's hard to separate all that out. You can't heal from the act separately from the manipulation, and when it's triggered, you can't just ignore it. The one thing in your entire post that hit me was maybe I should have an abortion move. I'm pro-choice, I'm not judging, and this not at what it's about. This is definitely a take my marbles and leave situation, and it looks like she's doing it in other ways using mom, too. So that tingle you feel is probably not jealousy or betrayal, it's the fact that she is poking at different ways to try and hook you back in and make you more codependent, while you are working to become more independent. This is a huge crossroads for you. Choose wisely. This is not the case. I highly doubt it. If she thought the baby was the magic band-aid she needed, she wouldn't be putting in the effort to apologize and communicate the way that she is. You know where you went wrong? You got her pregnant when you think you will never trust her again. If you were never going to trust her again, you should have just ended it. Like, I don't want to come off as a dick, but the bottom line is she is under the impression, or at least was, that you guys were reconciling and that, sure, things won't be the same, but it'll eventually be better. Now, after she's carrying your child, you dropped a bombshell about how you guys might not work and that you basically don't think you guys will work. I've never been in her shoes, but if I was, I would have already scheduled the abortion because obviously you guys are not likely to last. Adding this because I read a few more comments and I also reread your original post. So first, your emotions are valid. Second, get a counselor if you have not already. Both of you need individual counseling on top of couples counseling. Third, you need to be careful about how you word it when you talk about the relationship and your trust. I'm a stranger on the internet, and I was under the impression you were probably going to leave her. She's definitely feeling insecure and absolutely terrified because she's about to have a baby with you, and you just told her you will probably never trust her again. That's basically telling her the relationship is over. Having a counselor to vent to about this would be 100x better, for both of you. You guys need someone to help you process your emotions and navigate all of this. Fourth and last, just reassure her, man. She ducked up. She's going to live with that for the rest of her life. She knows. From what you told me, I honestly feel sorry for her because it sounds like she acted on some deep-rooted trauma or other issues. Does not excuse what she did, but the guilt and shame she is expressing and the way she is expressing it. I don't want to say be empathetic even though she broke your heart, but, seriously, just go to therapy. Don't even listen to us losers on the internet. Just get your wife and go to therapy and understand that she's about to have a baby with you and needs to feel secure in your relationship. My issue is, despite doing everything right, I still don't fully trust her, nor do I think I will ever again. That's not a problem you can fix, I don't think so at least. That's just how life is now. She betrayed your trust, which is a big ducking deal in a marriage. You may decide in a few years that the lack of trust is too much, and in the end is a deal breaker. That's just how it is, and it's her fault. Analogy for cheating that explains this perfectly. Being cheated on feels like losing a limb, then afterwards getting it replaced with a prosthetic. No matter how good the prosthesis is, even if it is some futuristic cyberarm that experts argue is even better and stronger than a normal limb, you can't help but regret having lost the original one. Trust is a wonderful, beautiful and very special feeling second only to love. You can enjoy having someone's trust for years, even for eternity. You can lose all that trust you've been enjoying in a split second by making a poor choice. You will work for years and years to try to re-earn the trust you threw away, but that trust you regain will never be same as it was. Is this really a healthy environment for a child to be born into? Is it fair to that child to be raised in such a distrusting household? Is it the right example relationship that will help that child succeed or set them up for failure? She's 4 months pregnant. I'm not about to abort my baby, you can get off that train of thought right now. I'm pro-choice. My choice is that any child of mine is getting born and getting every ounce of my love and effort. Regardless if the mother is attached to it or not. I'd toss her and everyone else out of an airlock. My kid is my kid, and when they're born they will be my focus. Amy does make me happy. Amy is a good woman. But being a good woman doesn't mean she hasn't done terrible things or made horrible choices. Did those choices make me who she is to me? For a while, it did. It really did. But that isn't all she is. And though I don't trust her, and will never trust anyone completely, not just because of this, but other issues with family. The truth is, we don't completely trust anyone. I just have more of a reason to admit it. Then you better seriously consider the long-term implications of your relationship with your spouse and how you'll get to a better place. The same abusive patterns tend to manifest generation to generation until someone finally decides to take ownership of their own personal trauma and end the cycle of abuse. Your child will make decisions and enter into relationships subconsciously due to the example you and your spouse set. The resentment and mistrust you hold definitely manifests out in how you interact with your wife. Your future child will absorb every one of those interactions and ultimately behave in similar patterns in their future relationships. There is still a ton for you all to process through, and it would be a damn shame to pass your own trauma on to your children. I am not trying to put blame on you here. I have been consistent on these boards at protecting children at all costs from the same patterns of abuse because I've seen it time and time again. Reflect hard on the example of a healthy relationship you want to set for your child. It's unfair to that child to maintain an unhealthy pattern only to watch them struggle in their own adulthood. I've given that more thought than I care to admit. Trust me, I'm thoroughly aware. Kids should be raised in separate homes rather than one broken. I don't believe in staying together for the kids for all the reasons you named and more. If I thought my resentment would be a problem, I'd have thought of it. Most of the time you would never know anything is wrong. I only have episodes when I'm at my most comfortable. Things are going great and I'm in love with this woman. I can lay my head down and say, this is going well. Things will be okay. All evidence is showing me that is the case. That's when my brain says, beware, this is when you'll get the knife. Be more vigilant right now. And that's a hard thing to shake. And even before the baby thing, we were in this state of improvement where this happened way more frequently. I'm usually over it when I'm done with the quiet moments in my head. When life is moving. But whenever I sit down and my brain goes into analyzing, it is shocked and scared that there is nothing wrong. That things are going well and that I am not upset with her. It's screaming that I must be missing something and I shouldn't relax. I'm working on having those moments be less, while still not dismissing them completely. I highly suspect pregnancy brain, but how could she possibly think you would be fully on board when she chose to hide being blackmailed at work by someone who found her videos? Not only did she allow herself to be blackmailed rather than take care of that up front, but she hid it from you until she blew up on the job and was basically demoted, right? How could she possibly think you would be okay when she chose to do that within a year of her camgirl debacle? Her bad choices keep continuing. As you indicated, it is far more likely, statistically speaking, that she will do something else rather than be a model wife and partner. That incident had to set you back to damn near the beginning of this shit show, and she ends up pregnant right after it. And wants you to be not just okay but good with it and your relationship. She wants too much for what she has exhibited in the last year. She needs to figure out how to be okay with just okay, because she has proven multiple times she's not a safe and secure partner. Good luck with this situation, and I hope she gets that help considering her condition. You've done all the right things so far, so I really hope she figures it out to show you she understands and can support you. I've read your post from today only. In scrolling and reading the comments, I am curious to read older posts to get a more complete picture of your relationship. However, before I do and possibly get distracted, I wanted to say that it seems to me that you and Amy are both doing good as far as trying to work on yourselves with the intention of having a good, long marriage. I've read many posts on this sub from all types of angles and issues that mostly seem to be someone asking for reassurance if what they already know. You seem to be doing the work, knowing what the risks are, and still working honestly towards making this a satisfying relationship. I'm impressed by both of you. And of course, a child complicates matters. But not in the way most people think or are saying. You are being honest and also very aware of the risks/statistics of what you can expect. That's healthy. Amy seems to have made progress working on herself first, and that's the only place to start if she has the intention of being a better person and partner. You're both slowly taking the right steps to make this, marriage 2.0, a sturdy and honest one. But it will never be the original marriage. It can be fantastic for both of you, still it's never going to be that original marriage. With Amy being pregnant, yes, the hormones can wreck a person. And then add her remorse over her original betrayal, then add in what sounds like your blunt, honest way of expressing yourself. It's so good, but many people would expect sugarcoating. I think you're correct in not doing that. Women, pregnant women more so, are used to lots and lots of sugarcoating. So she's pregnant, she's hormonal, she's remorseful, she's apologizing, and she is also afraid. I think fear is one of the things all pregnant women feel without really being allowed to talk or think about it, considering how it can take up so much time and space. And then Amy knows that you are willing to stay with her, she knows the trust will never be 100%. But it's a ducking lot to take in and understand and accept and deal with for all those reasons. Someone said she left to her mom's as a manipulation tactic, and at first it seemed like that could be true. But, she is trying to get her head back in the right place, I think. She is responsible for the baby and responsible for who is around the baby once it's born. She is scared because nothing is known and nothing can be known or guaranteed. Her betrayal makes it harder to know if you will be around for the long term, and that's why she cried and couldn't stop. She already messed up, and I think that leaving to go to her mom's was a way to pull herself together someplace that might have her pre-marriage Amy safe spots. To not feel like a horrible person, a horrible wife, a soon-to-be horrible mom, etc. But she needs to come back soon. I like the way you know that this child is wanted by you whether or not the marriage works. I think you know what messed up your childhood and marriage, and those painful things will make you a smart, good, purposeful father. Amy needs to reach that place for herself right now. Knowing that her childhood experience and wife's experience were bad, she is still working on becoming a better person. As long as she keeps at it, she will understand what you now know. This baby is coming and it's a little frightening because the world can suck in so many ways, but whatever happens as far as you and her, the baby will be loved, wanted and raised by people who are going to be paying attention to making a good life for the baby. And that makes me think the kid has a very good chance of a happy childhood. Congratulations. Oh, I forgot to mention also Amy has got weight issues in play also, which was / is a huge life-altering issue twice before, so yeah, lots to deal with. Don't forget to take a paternity test on the baby and don't sign the birth certificate without it. You might think you know it's yours, but is he really? Already took a test? Already had a paternity test? You can have them before they are born. This was always going to be a thing rather we had an infidelity issue or not. It's in the prenup. Nice having your bases covered. I understand you're upset. If she does choose not to go through the pregnancy, please understand that is not your choice and you can make another child. She is in a hard place and I don't think her emotional uphill is a good reason to terminate the pregnancy. But, if she doesn't care to put in any more work and doesn't want to risk being a single parent, that is, sadly for the dad, completely her choice. Having this child easily could and very well might break her. Postpartum is very real. None of this is your fault, but if she did make that choice I'm sure it is for the best. Pregnancy is extremely hard. Trust me when I say, there is a very good chance having a child will break her. If she realizes that, then I'm sure that will be what makes her choose to not continue with the pregnancy, and in that very single case might be the right choice for her. I hope you guys can work this out and she can stabilize. But please, do not attempt to force her to keep a pregnancy she does not think she can handle. Pregnancy literally changes everything about yourself, including your brain. Pregnancy literally triggered my bipolar disorder. I was so stable before I had kids, seriously, now I feel my mind giving up and breaking on a daily basis. Just an outlook if things don't go the way you want them to. I really do wish you both the best, and the baby. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.